Hey guys, so we are finishing out this week looking at emotions. So, of course, we've talked about ourselves. We are three-part beings: spirit, soul, and of course, we live in a body. Now, our emotions have been redeemed, just like our spirit man has been born again. But we have to train or reel in our emotions. I know that sometimes I can almost just stop. I can feel emotions running away with me or overtaking a circumstance, and I really do have to just stop, take a pause, and remember that my emotions do not control me. I control my emotions. And that sounds like something you would tell a 5-year-old, which I do tell my 5-year-old that, but we need to be reminded of that as well. So we can train our emotions, we reel in our emotions. Our spirit man, is in charge, or should be in charge, not our emotions. We tell ourselves how to feel. That's just like David did in that Psalm 23, not Psalm 23, but Psalms 103 that we read, where he said, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not one of all of his benefits." And then David went on to list the benefits, to remind himself what the benefits of our God is, being his. So we can tell ourselves how to feel. We can see the unpleasant circumstance or situation, and we can choose what to feel. We see the circumstance, we know what's going on, but do we believe that the circumstance has control, or do we believe that the word that God has spoken has the final say? See, if we focus on the situation, our emotions are going to be dictated by that situation. But if we focus on the word of God concerning the situation, then our emotions are going to be based on the word of God. They're going to be hopeful, they're going to be joyful in spite of the situation. I'm telling you, in spite of the situation. And I'm encouraging you. And no, I'm not walking where you're walking, but you're also not walking where I'm walking. And so it doesn't matter the circumstance. See, that's the great thing about the Word of God, is that it is no respecter of person. It works in your tough circumstance, and it works in my tough circumstance. And if I will keep His promise in my line of view, then everything else will come into line. It's a perspective change, which we've talked about that already in this Psalm 23 as well. Do we feel the circumstance or the promise? Do we elect? Or that's what I said, right? Yeah, we can feel the circumstance or the promise. Which one do we choose to feel? I heard a preacher say this one time, and it's not easy. Don't by any means think that I'm saying, oh, she thinks this is easy, or she doesn't, again, know what I'm going through, so she has no idea. Life is tough. I know that it is tough. I absolutely know that it is tough. What I'm saying today is encouragement for you, that we can put the word of God. You think, even what David went through, where they come in and burned the villages and took all the wives, the children, the sons and daughters, that was devastating. So David, he wept with all the men. It said they cried, they wept until they could weep no more. They had no more strength to weep. So there is a time, deal with what you've got to deal with, but then David encouraged and strengthened himself in the Lord. So we get hit with something. Okay, we have to deal with this. We are emoting beings. We have emotions. We go through our emotions, and then we decide, are we going to stay in the emotion, or are we going to get a hold of the word, get strengthened, encourage ourselves and who our shepherd is, and then get through this, move forward again to victory? Because Jesus said, 16:33, we read this the very first day, "I've told you these things so that in me you may have perfect peace and confidence. In the world you have tribulation, trials, distresses, frustration. But be of good cheer, take courage, be confident, certain, and undaunted. For I have overcome the world. I have deprived it of power to harm you, and have conquered it for you." So in game victory, that's it. He's conquered the world, and he's deprived it of power to harm us. So I this statement, I heard a preacher say this years ago. He said, "Fear is faith contaminated." Well, fear being the belief that something does have the power to harm us, and that God will not keep us, will not hold us, will not see us to the end of it. And we've already read twice today that he who promises faithful, that he is sure, reliable, and able to keep his word and to do what he promised. Faith is believing. Simply believing God. We talked about that this week. Believing in God, or do we believe God? If we believe God, how many times, how many verses can you find where he said, do not fear, do not be afraid? Make that confession over yourself this week, just like this Young's Literal Translation. I fear no evil. I fear no evil. And I know in the past week, looking at the current state of our culture and events around the world, that it is very difficult not to just almost be oppressed of what's going on, certainly depressed, but that the enemy doesn't get to do that and just weigh us down with what's going on around us, because we have the power. The very Spirit of God, which raised Jesus Christ from the dead, lives and dwells on the inside of us. And yes, we know that in the last days, times are going to get dark, but that's so that the church appears brighter. So times may be getting dark, but in the darkness, the light shines. You and I are the light, and we will not fear, because his power is greater than that of the enemy. So I will not fear. This is a decision. I am choosing not to fear, because I know who my shepherd is. I will not be afraid, for you are with me. And we're 7 minutes, and we will continue on next time. See y'all later. Bye.